Hi everyone. I just wanted to share with you a technique I've been using for creating coloured veneers. My lovely friend, online friend from Queensland, Belinda, saw these just the other day and commented about the pinky orange veneer in these. And look, I have done this with a few projects just recently and I do really like it. And Belinda said, "Oh, have you got a tutorial for it anywhere?" And I don't, but I thought, okay, I'll just do a really quick one up because it really doesn't take that long. It's fairly simple. It's probably not anything that I've discovered. I dare say someone's done it way before me, so I'm not claiming to own this technique. I just thought it's something really cool and fun and easy, and I thought I would share it with you. All right, what we need to have on our workspace is some white clay, or I'm using white clay today. You could use any color clay you wanted to, depending on what color chalks you're working with, of course. So I'm using white Kato clay, and my clay is run through the pasta machine on a number 2 setting. And that's a really important thing to remember, have it on a number 2 setting. I'm using some chalk pastels today in a variety of colors. I've got my favorite colors here. I thought I'd work with the colors that Belinda saw and liked and commented on, so I thought I would just use those colors for today. And of course I'm using chalk pastels. I'm using a really cool artist quality chalk pastel, and these are my favorites. I'm also going to need an acrylic sheet and a brayer. I'm also going to be using a fan brush, and you'll see what that's for. And I've also got some lace that I'm going to use for texture today. You can use any sort of texture. I'm using this piece of lace because I love it. You'll also need a tissue blade. All right, let's get started. The first thing we need to do is just shave some chalks onto the surface of our clay. Simple as that. And just randomly, there's no right or wrong with this, honestly, you just do it how you like. If you do too much, it's going to go off the edges, and that's fine, because there is actually another little trick for using all of that excess clay, which I'll show you. I'll do another video on that one, but I'll show you what to do with that as well. Now, I'm actually going to use my fingers here to rub my chalks into the surface. You can use some little, soft knives with a little spongy brush on them. You can use, cotton buds. You can use whatever you want. I actually like to use my fingers, so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to start with the lightest color here. And I'm just going to blend it into the surface of the clay. So just where my light color was, that's where I'm going over, just like this. And now I'm just going to bring in the dark. And look, if I don't have enough chalk on my clay, just put a bit more on. If you've got too much, brush it off. It really isn't rocket science. I might go a tiny bit darker over in this corner here with just a little bit more of that orange. Excuse me. Just blend your two colors in together nicely like that. You've got a bit of a contrast between the two orange colors. It's as simple as that. That's our first step finished. The next thing we need to do is pop our lace onto the surface of our clay, and I'm actually going to hold it in place with my sheet, and I'm going to press down with my brayer. So I've got my sheet of acrylic and I'm pressing down with my brayer. The reason I'm doing this is because I coated a layer of chalk onto my sticky white clay. So in actual fact, I created a barrier on the clay. So if I take this off, I've embedded it now, but not much is going to stick on there because I've created that barrier. So I'm actually wanting to just use the sheet so it doesn't move around. So you can see I've got a good impression there now, but I'm actually going to roll it on even more. So that lace is really quite well embedded into the surface of the clay. And sorry if that's bumping the camera. Okay, let's move that and see, we've got a really good impression there. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a really good impression. Next thing we need to do is shave, not directly onto our clay, but we're going to shave onto our work surface in front of us. And I'm now going to pick some up on my finger. If I had have shaved directly onto there, I would have all of this colour chalk, the darker colour chalk, down into the little crevices in my clay, which I actually don't want because I want to pop this just on the surface. Now you are going to get some that are going to fall in there, but don't stress, that's what we've got our little brush for. And look, as I said, you might find it easier to use one of the little soft brushes. You might come up with a way that's much easier for you to do it. And look, I'm picking up a small amount, dab it around to distribute the chalk on my fingertip, and then pop it onto the clay and just rub around gently. So I'm just picking up a little bit at a time. I can see I need to shave a bit more chalk, so I'll just go ahead and do that. It's up to you how dark you want this top surface to be. I think I might go quite dark with mine, so I get that really nice contrast of the light and the dark when my veneer is finished. I can see I have got quite a bit in the recesses, but I will show you the little trick for getting it out of the recesses. So we won't stress about that for now. I'm actually not taking a huge amount of care in this, only because I'm conscious of the time that we're taking up here. So you will obviously take a lot more care when you do yours, and you probably won't have as much fall into your crevices as what I have. So you can see I've now finished that. I'm going to release the clay from my work surface very carefully. And this is where I'm going to get my brush, and I'm just going to brush the excess clay off. And look, it may darken a few of your recesses, but you know what? I'm actually not going to stress about that. I think I kind of don't mind that little bit of darkness in there as well. It's really not going to worry me too much. So you can see I'm just brushing all the excess off. So basically we have, excuse me, we have our piece of clay, which has got quite a bit of texture on it, and we've got the two colors. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to run this through the pasta machine. So remember, this is on a number 2 setting. So I want to create, in the end, I want this to be a flat piece of clay. Now you could use this as is, but I actually want to create a flat piece of clay. I don't want any excuse me, raised up areas on the clay at all. So I'm going to run it through the number 2 on the pasta machine. I'm then going to turn my machine to a number 3 and run it through, and finally a number 4. So I'm just going to go out of screen for a moment. I'm running through on number 2. You can see that really hasn't made any difference whatsoever because I was on number 2 to start off with. So now I haven't turned my clay. I've gone through exactly the same on number 3. Now I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to run it through on a number 4 setting. So you can see, sorry, I've got a piece of clay which is beautiful and smooth. Like, you probably can't see it too well, but there's actually no texture on the surface at all. It's all completely smooth now. What I can do if I want to, I'm just going to sit this down here. If I want to embed that the chalk a little bit more into the clay, so I know it's firmly embedded in there, I'm just going to put a piece of A4 paper over the top, and I'm going to run over with my hand just to really embed that chalk into the surface of the clay. And you can see I've picked up quite a bit on the paper here. So this piece of clay here should be fairly well embedded. So I can run my hands over that and the chalk doesn't move at all. So there you are. Belinda, I hope you enjoyed that. You can use this for all sorts of things now. So I'm going to go and play with a few more colours. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye for now.